I would like to introduce Pierre Louette from Orange. Can applause them. Mr. Jean-Louis Gagnère, Vice President of the Rhône-Alpes region, please, on the stage. And Pascal Buffard, President of the SIGREF. Installez-vous là, moi je vais mettre là. Okay, the question of today is what kind of relationships between big companies and startups? So, are you startup friendly? Is Orange startup friendly? Because many persons in this room are saying sometimes that that's hard to work with Orange and big companies in terms of entry condition, in terms of buying. So, what can you tell us about this, please? What are you doing with the startups?
Okay, so that's a rather unexpected question, I would say. So it's a question no one ever asked me. First of all, I'd like to say that we have a tradition at Orange to innovate. We have been a startup at 1.2, and we have not completely forgotten that. We've had to reinvent ourselves occasionally also in the mobile world, in the new mobile world with new prices, new competitors. So it's something that we know a little bit about. Then the second thing that I wanted to say is that we're never, I think, good enough with the startups. It is true that we have our shortcomings. It is true that occasionally a startup will not find its way when it comes to us. Occasionally a startup will go from one interlocutor to another and spend too much time trying to find the right person. So we are working heavily on that issue. And Stéphane Richard personally has asked me to try to find a way to initiate a better relationship, or a better road, if you want, with the startups. And then the third thing that I wanted to stress also is that we spend a lot of time and a lot of money in supporting startups. Maybe we'll address this a bit later on, but it is true that we have to work on this relationship. Sometimes the startups live in a different time frame, and I understand that. I've been also a creator of startups in the past, and they want answers in 2 days, 2 weeks, not in 2 months or 2 years. It's understandable, their time frame is very different, so we need to be able to adapt ourselves and give maybe a different road, a separate track, a quicker track to the startups.
Okay, and what are you doing today in terms of incubation and acceleration of startups?
So we do a lot today in three different ways. First of all, we are sponsors of a lot of the events that are organized in France. So we support a lot of the NUMA and different initiatives that have been launched by the government or by private sectors. We work also heavily with the MEDEF in the digital transformation committee, which we try to irrigate and share what we can do. So that's one point. We feel we have a duty to sponsor and to help. The second activity we have is with very young startups. We do a lot now of what we call acceleration. We have accelerators. The first one we started in the Silicon Valley. It's very big and active today. It's pretty well known actually. And we have launched other accelerators in Israel, in Ivory Coast, because we're a very strong operator and carrier in Africa. So we do accelerate the development. We give access actually to young companies, to our network of experts, to our companies' products also, and to some of our markets. And the third point is obviously the financial effort that we contribute to the world of startups. And this takes different forms. We are investors in a fund we have created with Publicis called Iris. We have invested 75 million euros in that fund. So we have already helped the development of quite a few companies. And we also have started investing in earlier stage, seed and early stage. And of course, we are in M&A investors in larger companies like Dailymotion or Deezer, companies which already have proven very good, and companies also that we are looking forward to becoming even bigger in the world. So this is a description of the different ways in which we cooperate with the startups world.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot, Pierre. Pascal Buffard, it seems to be natural for a big digital company to help startups in the new economy, but is that the same for the big companies of the former economy? Est-ce qu'aujourd'hui, dans les grands groupes industriels, les grands comptes de l'économie entre guillemets traditionnelle, il y a cette compréhension de l'intérêt d'aller vers des startups.
Absolutely yes.
Thank you.
This is very important because as Gary said this morning, we have really to transform our business models or die. So this is very important for the large companies really to understand that they have really to innovate or die. And so this is also the reason why at SIGREF, which is a network of 140 large corporations in France, we are really aiming, let's say, at using digital culture really to promote innovation and performance. And so we created a foundation a few years ago and launched an international research program with, let's say, the most prestigious one in the world, like South California University or like Harvard Business School, or like Meiji in Japan or Tsinghua in China, HEC,
yeah.
In France, London Business School, and so on.
Okay.
And so we are publishing all these, let's say, studies, research studies in e-books, and we also publish some e-books regarding the digital transformation. And in this last e-book that we published, the Enterprise 2020, Digital Enterprise 2020, we identified 9 key challenges, of which one is particularly dedicated to the fact that to transform ourselves, we really need to install a number of partnerships. A number of partnerships and also for us to transform our business models. And this is something that has been very clear during these 2 days, and the keynote speech are really highlighting the fact that to transform ourselves, we need really to develop a large collaboration. And this is the reason why in a lot of our large corporations, but Orange is a very good example, of course, but not only. We have also, let's say, some communities that we have created in large corporations like BNPP, like France Television, with startups in order to develop open innovation. We have at AXA Seed Factory, which is investing in startups, helping them to grow. We have an AXA Lab. We have also big partnerships with WISIX, for example, in order to develop health coaching and health insurance, which is a way, very different way to do our business, really to protect our customers and to help them to better manage their health. So a lot of partnerships, a lot of research we are doing in order to really be a sponsor and promoter of a new way of working with startups. It is not easy. There is a lot to do for sure, and this is the reason why also we signed off a convention or charter with the Syntec Numérique in France in order to be in a better shape, in order to work with startups, which is not so easy in large corporations. But there is a very clear answer we need to do, and this is not to help them only, and this is also to help us transform ourselves.
Okay, thanks a lot, Pascal, for this consciousness. And effectively, startups in this room are maybe a mean to survive for you. It's okay. Okay, for the digital economy, the traditional economy, and as we saw, politics are playing an essential role in the digital transformation of the society, and politics at the national scale, naturally, but on the local scale, à l'échelle régionale, les acteurs politiques ont un rôle essentiel dans la transformation numérique de la société. Jean-Louis Gagnère, may you tell us what Ronalp is doing with digital economy and with startups? Que fait Ronalp avec ce mouvement de la filière numérique et des startups?
Je suis désolé, tout d'abord, compte tenu de l'heure avancée et de la nuit un peu longue depuis les événements de cette nuit. Et bon, je ferai en français, et puis bon, je crois qu'il y a essentiellement un parterre de Français avec nous. Bon, tout d'abord, je suis représentant d'une institution, pas le représentant d'un parti politique, même si j'assume complètement mon appartenance politique. Je suis bien du Parti socialiste, et de cette branche du Parti socialiste qui aime les entreprises. Je souhaite le dire devant le président Gattaz. Deuxième chose, je pense qu'on aime les débats inutiles dans ce pays et opposer ou faire les matchs grands groupes contre start-up, PME contre grands groupes. Alors, ça ne veut pas dire, et j'ai entendu, en accompagnant le ministre Emmanuel Macron, j'ai entendu beaucoup de revendications des PME et des start-up, surtout plutôt d'ailleurs des entreprises déjà installées, plutôt que des start-up, parce qu'il faut effectivement que les grands groupes soient friendly avec les petites entreprises. D'abord, ça peut vouloir dire un certain nombre de choses, c'est emmener dans ses bagages les entreprises sur les terrains de jeu internationaux. Ça peut vouloir dire développer ensemble et en commun des projets de R&D. Et je pense qu'il faut qu'on sache trouver des terrains de jeu communs. Et c'est peut-être ça que les régions peuvent organiser en complément de ce que fait l'État. L'État fixe le cadre et bon, il y a quelque chose qui est quand même assez merveilleux dans notre pays, c'est la politique des pôles de compétitivité. Nous avons 12 pôles de compétitivité dans notre région qui mobilisent 35% des projets de financement unique interministériel, DFUI, 35% du niveau national. Ce n'est pas dû au hasard et ça ne concerne pas que les grands groupes, ça concerne l'ensemble des entreprises. Et l'ensemble des entreprises, c'est parce qu'il y a des intérêts communs et les pôles de compétitivité sont ce lieu de rendez-vous et ce terrain de jeu commun. Donc ça, c'est la première chose. Ça suppose évidemment que les régions et les collectivités, avec l'État, soient au rendez-vous des financements. Ça veut dire d'avoir des politiques d'accompagnement à l'international et des plans de développement à l'international qui concernent à la fois, enfin, les grands groupes se débrouillent très bien tout seuls, mais la contribution des régions avec ce qui était UbiFrance, mais enfin, en tout cas pour ce qui concerne ma région, c'est beaucoup de moyens qui sont consacrés à l'accompagnement des entreprises qui vont sur l'international. Ce que ne fait ni l'État, ni UbiFrance, pas directement en tout cas. Et on est là pour créer ce climat d'affaires extrêmement important. Et je crois que là où on est utile, c'est qu'on sait, il faut qu'on sache organiser les bonnes complémentarités. Et arrêtons une bonne fois pour toutes les oppositions inutiles, les matchs qui de toute façon sont dépassés, parce que pendant qu'on parle de ça, on ne parle pas de l'essentiel, on ne parle pas de l'opérationnel. Et moi je suis, bon, bien que je sois un politique, ou parce que je suis un politique, eh bien moi j'aime le concret, j'aime que les choses avancent, je veux que les entreprises de ma région avancent, et je veux que les entreprises de mon pays avancent, et je veux que ma région soit utile à mon pays. Parce que la région Rhône-Alpes, bon, c'est une région importante, et je crois que quand on totalise le nombre d'entreprises de Rhône-Alpes avec celles qui viennent d'Auvergne, ça représente un 1/6 de la délégation française. Et donc, ça veut dire que notre écosystème est productif, que nous avons trouvé les moyens d'accompagner les petites entreprises qui viennent à côté des grands groupes et qu'en aucun cas, on me trouvera sur le terrain de cette opposition stérile. En tout cas, ça ne m'intéresse pas et je pense que notre rôle à nous, c'est de dépasser ces clivages complètement dépassés.
Merci. Merci beaucoup, messieurs. On peut vous applaudir.